Documentation and traceability. It's not just about assembling a bike. Everything has to be accounted for, from parts on the line to documented processes to torque specs to supplier documentation, the whole thing, from cradle to grave. And that's something that not necessarily the customer or the rider understands when you're taking it from prototype to a production model. The challenge is like repeatability. When we build prototype bikes, our skilled technicians, let's put it that way, can coax a part into place, right? If it's not a true production part yet. And we can make a one-off bike, but not in production. When we have 50 to 70 people on our production line, which is a hand-built line, everything has to fit perfectly. And the consistency is the key, right? All the way from our processes to the supplier itself. So their parts have to be perfect. All of that stuff has to be spot on so that our operators can put the bike together the same way every single time. It's less about can you build one cool bike and can you build 20 cool bikes a day forever, right? Over and over again. Kind of to back up the whole consistency thing is that we want people that are passionate about the work. We want people that like motorcycles and understand that stuff, but the reality is finding 50 to 70 people in the same zip code isn't real. So what we'll have to do is make sure our process is solid so the training can take anybody with the desire to learn and the passion for what they do, motorcycles or whatever they like, and then be able to train them very quickly. And I'm not talking about an hour or a day, but over a series of weeks or a month that they can learn one job element and become perfect at it. That helps us control our quality, that helps us control our processes, and it gives the end user, the customer, the consistent bike that they're looking for. It's extra important in our scenario or our environment than other, let's say, just manufacturing in general, because we do not have automation. Our bikes are hand-built by skilled people. So our quality control processes have to be spot on. And what we'll do is first start with incoming parts, right, and making sure that the supplier is taking care of their end of the bargain. And then what we'll do is build processes to prevent, hopefully, most issues or errors. And then on top of that, the secondary checks and measurements and so on and so forth to ensure that the process is staying within tolerance. We brought in a quality manager probably 6-8 months ago or so, and what he brings with him is that whole QMS, a quality management system experience with him that will build in industry standards in manufacturing that our processes have to comply to. So we're just not making them up ourselves, we are actually complying to what has worked in the industry for everybody. And then a little bit on top of that, just because we are unique and hand-built without any of the automation like I mentioned. Seeing complete units come off the line, going from years of preparation or the vision or the prototype or the drawing even right from the very beginning, and looking at it in CAD and looking at some of the parts coming in and tweaking them, and then finally get to the point where you can produce a running, riding motorcycle that our own team members ride all over the country, as well as a lot of other of our marketing team members, that we have on these bikes, that we can produce a solid bike that delivers on what the expectation is, right? A lightweight, high horsepower V-twin American motorcycle. It's very rewarding, especially for the team on the floor, to see their hand-built bike on social media or wherever it's posted, that they know they built that, they touched that. It connects the I did something special to like the real world, which is really, really cool. What's unique about the Super Cruiser is that what I truly believe is it fills a hole in the market. There isn't necessarily a bike out there like it that you can buy from the factory or that everybody can buy. And that's what's really, really unique about it. It's a bike that you try to make out of other bikes, but it costs a lot of money and maybe the reliability may go down, who knows, as you start modifying things. For us to produce, a bike that is lightweight or lighter than the competitors with a lot more horsepower, that is just a blast to ride, is really, really cool. And I think connecting with the customers and talking with them at events and customers that come in here, or even potential customers that come in and do tours, I feel like they have some of that same vision and that passion going, holy crap, there it is. It's a unicorn, right? Like, finally we've seen it, you know? And that's really cool when you start talking about it, and especially when, you know, you're talking with other motorcycle riders, we're talking about the same stuff, you know, going fast, stopping fast too, when you need to, cornering, and all of the other fun things that you do on bikes, right? It makes you feel alive, you know, and that's a bike that can do it right from the factory. The least favorite part is the firefighting, right? The managing the unknowns every day. We build a plan, the next day the plan doesn't exist anymore. And a lot of that comes from basically parts on hand, supplier readiness, that kind of stuff. When we are aggressively trying to launch a motorcycle as a small company, you have to make sure that all of your suppliers are in line with the engineering department, and then when production needs it, so we have planned builds that either go for marketing or go for testing or go for validation. It's extremely frustrating when we get everything lined up and it can come down to one missing bolt. And it's something that may have either been missed on our bill of materials, or maybe it was a rev change and now we don't want to use the old one, or the supplier is late, you know, or something like that, or it's in transit, or sometimes it's caught in customs. I mean, you can make a whole list of things, and it's just super frustrating because there is a lot of energy behind each build, not just in a lot of effort from everybody, but everybody's excited to see the next bike be built or the next revision be built. And from the production side or a manufacturing side, right at our core, when we can't deliver what our customer wants, and that customer can be marketing, that customer can be engineering, or somebody that's going to run a test for us, when we can't deliver, it stings because we always want to deliver. We never want to be late. And if you go in with that mindset, most of the time you can achieve that, right? So it's always on time, building a good quality part, and when something is hung up for, you know, a shipping error, or it just is an oversight, it's extremely frustrating. But you get through them, you know, and then when it does come in, typically we have a lot more energy to get it done so we stay on track with the timeline. So it's kind of a yin and yang with the whole thing, but being late and not being able to deliver to the timeline, it does impact us negatively. And then looking at the big picture, if it delays us enough, then ultimately our customers, you know, are going to get their bike delayed. So a lot of effort is put into staying on time, staying on track, and overcoming these obstacles that pop up every day and every week. Currently, where we're at with the engineering and production process, we are coming right to the end of it. Meetings are more enjoyable now because we're not arguing over anything, because we are all in the same direction and we are ready to go. There's a little bit of delays with, you know, waiting for certification from the government or any of that stuff, which kind of, it sucks, but that's the world we live in. We got to make sure we have a compliant bike that we can sell to people, a safe bike that we can sell to people, but pretty much everybody on the Buell team here, we are ready to go. So let's rock and roll.